I've always considered myself lucky. I met my husband, Alex, in college, one of those we sat next to each other in a lecture hall and never stopped talking stories. We were both broke students, eating ramen noodles, pulling all-nighters, and dreaming about better futures. Somehow, we grew together instead of apart, and that's not something I take lightly. We've been married 7 years now, and I'd say we've got one of those quietly solid marriages that don't look flashy on Instagram but actually work. We laugh a lot, we fight sometimes, but we fight fair. We're a team. The other piece of my life puzzle was my best friend, Emma. I met her when we were both 12 and awkward. She was the loud one, the bold one, the one who'd dare me to sneak into abandoned houses or try out for the school play. I was the cautious one, who usually got dragged along and somehow ended up loving it. We stayed close through everything, first heartbreaks, terrible jobs, even when she moved to another city for a few years. When she came back, it felt like picking up an old, comfortable book. Emma had always been part of my marriage, in a way. She was there when I met Alex, she came on our early group trips, she even helped me pick my wedding dress. Alex liked her, at least that's what I thought. They had a teasing, sibling-ish rapport. I never worried about it. Why would I? But I need to paint the picture right. Emma is magnetic. She's not the kind of beautiful that feels intimidating. She's more like this warm, sparkling presence that pulls people in. She knows how to make anyone feel like the most interesting person in the room. I used to joke that if she ever started a cult, I'd probably join. That magnetism, though, it turned out to be a double-edged sword. It all started small. At first, I barely noticed. Emma had recently gone through a rough breakup and was spending more time with us. She'd crash on our couch, show up with wine on Fridays, and we'd all binge stupid shows together. I didn't mind. Honestly, I liked the company. But sometimes I'd catch this flicker, Alex laughing a little too hard at her jokes, or Emma touching his arm when she made a point. It seemed harmless. People are tactile. They connect. I brushed it off. Until one night, I couldn't anymore. We'd been sitting around playing cards, drinking a little, nothing wild. I went to grab more snacks from the kitchen, and when I came back, I saw Emma leaning across the table toward Alex. It wasn't overtly flirty, but the energy was different, like the whole air in the room had shifted. Alex looked flustered in a way I hadn't seen before, and when Emma noticed me, she leaned back so fast you'd think the chair burned her. My stomach twisted. That was the first time I felt it, the edge of a crack forming in what I'd always thought was unshakable. I wish I could say I confronted them immediately, that I was brave and mature and set boundaries. But the truth? I gaslit myself. You're imagining it. They're just friends. Don't be jealous. That mantra kept me quiet for weeks, except the signs piled up. Emma started texting Alex directly. Little things like, "What time should I come over?" or "Send me that recipe you made last night." At first, I thought, fine, whatever. But then I'd notice threads that didn't include me at all. Jokes, memes, even venting about her ex. Alex didn't hide it. If anything, he looked confused when I seemed tense about it. "She's your best friend. I'm just being nice." The gaslighting turned into bargaining. I told myself it was fine as long as she wasn't crossing physical boundaries. Except she was, subtly. She'd squeeze his knee when she laughed, linger in the doorway of the kitchen when it was just the two of them. Once, when I walked into the living room, she was lying with her head on his shoulder. "Just being dramatic," she laughed when she saw my face. "He's like my brother." I smiled tightly and played along. But inside, something was cracking. Then came the night I almost lost it. Emma had too much wine, way too much. She was giggly, unsteady, sprawling on the couch while Alex and I cleaned up dinner. At some point, she wandered into the kitchen where Alex was loading the dishwasher. I was in the hallway, out of sight, but close enough to hear. She said, slurring a little, "You know, if you weren't married to my best friend, I'd totally steal you." The plate Alex was holding clattered into the dishwasher. I froze. His voice was low. "Emma, don't." "What? I'm just saying what everyone's thinking," she teased. "Stop." He sounded sharper this time. I couldn't move. My heart was thundering. Eventually, I forced myself to walk in, pretending I hadn't heard. Emma gave me this too wide smile, eyes glittering. Alex looked like he wanted the floor to swallow him. That night, I barely slept. My mind spun with scenarios. What if I hadn't walked in? What if she'd said more? What if he had said more? The next morning, Emma acted like nothing happened. She made pancakes, humming, completely at ease. Alex was quiet, careful. And me? I played along. I laughed, I ate pancakes, I told myself it was just drunk talk. But the seed had been planted, and it grew roots fast. Things hit a breaking point 2 weeks later. Emma invited herself over for another movie night. I tried to say I was busy, but she showed up anyway, bags of snacks in hand. During the movie, she curled up against Alex like it was the most natural thing in the world. I sat there, staring at the screen, feeling like a ghost in my own house. When Alex got up to grab drinks, I followed him into the kitchen. My voice shook. "Do you not see what she's doing?" He blinked at me. "What are you talking about?" "She's all over you. She's crossing lines." He sighed, rubbing his forehead. "She's your best friend. She's going through a hard time. Don't turn this into something it's not." And that was the moment I snapped. I told him what I'd overheard that night. Every touch, every look, every sly comment. I spilled it all, shaking with months of pent-up fear. Alex went pale. He swore he hadn't encouraged it, hadn't wanted it. "I thought you trusted me," he said, voice raw. "I do, but I don't trust her anymore." When we walked back into the living room, Emma was sprawled across the couch like she owned it. I don't know what came over me, but I told her flat out, "You're not welcome here anymore." The silence that followed was suffocating. Emma laughed like I'd made a joke. When she realized I wasn't smiling, her face twisted. "Are you serious? You think I'd actually try to steal your husband? You already tried." My voice cracked, but I held her gaze. She went quiet. Then, with this icy little smirk, she grabbed her bag and walked out. That was the last time she set foot in my house. After she left, Alex and I sat in silence for what felt like hours. Then he turned to me and said, "I'm sorry." Not for doing something wrong, because he hadn't, but for not seeing how much it hurt me, for dismissing my instincts, for letting Emma blur the boundaries. It took time, months of hard conversations, little rebuildings of trust, but we made it through. In a twisted way, the whole ordeal made our marriage stronger. We became more intentional about checking in, about not brushing off each other's feelings. As for Emma, we haven't spoken in over a year. Sometimes I miss her, or at least the version of her I thought was real. But then I remember the look on her face that night, the smirk, the lack of remorse, and I remind myself I didn't lose a friend. I dodged a wrecking ball. And I protected my marriage from someone who was supposed to be on my side.